Welcome to another Forte Growth episode where we interview people doing awesome things online. We go over their successes, insights, and any failures to keep you motivated and inspired. Sit back. Let's go.
Welcome to the Forte Growth Podcast. Again, if you're not getting your SEO stuff done by Gareth and Forte Analytica, get in contact with them and do that. The digital PR and the links you're going to get, it's going to help you, especially with how volatile Google is now and how important links are and having your name everywhere all over the internet. Gareth's going to help you with that at Forte Analytica. But today, we have Jason Mills on the podcast. Most of you should be familiar with him. He owns the Affiliate School, has a bunch of different niche websites, pretty active on Twitter too. But we dive into kind of an update of what he's been doing. He got hit by the helpful content update on his two main sites, kind of dives into why he thinks why, what he's doing to recover. Then we dive into the real, the value in this podcast, man. Honestly, what he's doing on Reddit, you guys just need to listen to this and you can kind of take advantage of it now before kind of the door's shut on you. But I'm not going to share too much in this intro because I want you to listen to it. So the stuff he's doing on Reddit is just, it's a strategy that I guess we've kind of heard, but the way he's doing it, yeah, he's crushing with it, which is unbelievable. So make sure you listen to that. Talk a little about YouTube and SGE and a bunch of other different things there, but the real value is what he's doing with Reddit. So make sure you listen to this through this podcast and you get to that section. But sit back and enjoy. All right, welcome to the Forte Growth Podcast. Get all your SEO needs done by Gareth Boyd, Forte Analytica, links, digital PR, all that good stuff. But today we have Jason Mills on the podcast. Welcome, Jason.
Thanks, James. Great to be here. First time on this one.
Yeah. But great to catch up again, regardless. It's always good to chat to you and see what you're up to. But I'm sure most people are familiar with you, but just for people who aren't, just a brief background about you and what you do.
Sure, yeah. So most people probably know me from the Affiliate School YouTube channel. I'm a little bit active on Twitter now as well at Niche Jason. But essentially, yeah, I've got a portfolio of affiliate websites. I think we've just gone up to 12. So 12 sites, all monetized purely through affiliate. So that's me. And since probably the last time we spoke, I've got involved a little bit more with Parasite. So milking that a little bit, which we can probably talk about today. But yeah, affiliate is my game basically.
Perfect. Yeah. Obviously a lot of people jumping on the Parasite train. I mean, it's working, isn't it, as well? So I know you've got, let's maybe start with your current websites, then we can kind of expand out into all the other things you're doing as well. I know you've got, I won't say the exact niches unless you want to, but basically health niche related sites. One of them, I think you mentioned, got hit in some recent updates. Do you want to maybe dive into that one to start with and kind of where it was, where it's now, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, health and kind of supplementation, fitness. They're my main niches. I've got a few other sites in other niches as well, but I've got two kind of big-ish sites in those niches. Both got hit in the helpful content update. No denying it. They absolutely got smashed. At the time, it was hit around 70%, pretty much to the letter, 70% on both sites. That has since come back a little bit. And I don't know if that's as a result of maybe some minor changes that I've made or if there was just some kind of correction in the algorithm. But even now, it's at about 50% hit on where it was. So obviously that kind of, takes its toll in terms of, your traffic, but ultimately the revenue that's coming in each month.
Was both revenue and traffic evenly hit?
Yeah, not completely. And the reason for that is a lot of the affiliate programs that I'm working with have repeat orders. So even now, they're still generating a good few $100s in commission each day just on repeats. Obviously, with Black Friday coming up and that sort of thing, that is probably going to do okay in that time period. But yeah, there's no denying it. Like day to day, new sales have definitely taken a big hit on those sites. But then I've got sites that I've started this year in completely different niches, and they have only benefited from the helpful content update. So one's in the travel space, one's in the personal finance space. Both are UK-based websites, but both have benefited. And like when you see all these horrific graphs, and believe me, my graphs in Ahrefs and SEMrush look terrible for those other sites, these ones look really good and positive. Now, whether that's because they're fairly new and they've not been classified or rated yet by a Google rater, that might be the reason why. But I think also it's potentially because with these new sites, I've really tried to hit everything put to perfection. So in terms of like the quality of content, the people that are writing them, making sure those credentials are seen and are transparent. I'm trying to make sure that all of that is incorporated. The other thing that I've started to focus on a lot more is the mobile side of things. So trying to make sure that the mobile experience and the way the site looks and performs on mobile is absolutely bang on. Because probably, I don't know what you're like, but whenever I'm usually designing sites, I'm always designing on a desktop. So I'm focusing on the desktop, and mobile has always been a secondary thought. So that's kind of been, at the forefront a little bit more with these newer sites. And I've tried to go back retrospectively now and adjust the kind of, particularly on post layouts for those sites that got hit, because that's just a quick and easy way to kind of have a big impact across the whole site, just in terms of like what's displayed above the fold before the scroll on mobile. So trying to reduce the amount of space that a featured image takes up, or even maybe taking them out altogether, making sure that the disclaimers and the author information's there, but again, not taking up too much space. So they're kind of the things that I've been focusing on a little bit more. But again, it might take another update for things like that. Even if they do make a difference, it's probably going to take another update for them to kick in. It's just been a brutal time, hasn't it, for everyone with niche sites.
Have you noticed as well on a lot of those SERPs? I mean, we're in somewhat similar niches, but have you noticed on the SERPs recently for like best XYZ that a lot of page one, or pretty much all of page one is just e-com stores, and there's not one affiliate site to be seen on there. They might have like the e-com filter on the side, and it's just literally stores either ranking collection pages, product pages, or a best, XYZ page on their site.
Yeah, definitely. Seeing quite a lot of that. I think that was one of the biggest things that kind of came out initially, that you could just see. It was almost like Google just changed what they wanted to display for those types of terms, like as in like what type of entity, what type of website. I think it's reversed back a little bit. Whether that's just anecdotal, I don't know, but it does seem to reverse back a little bit. Definitely my branded searches, because when I'm tracking it on a rank tracker, particularly if it's a big keyword, I'll track the brand name as well as the brand name review keyword. And in the past, I was ranking position 1 for, say it was Kellogg's Cornflakes review. Then I'd be position 2 for Kellogg's Cornflakes. Now, all of a sudden, that Kellogg's Cornflakes traffic has just disappeared. It's gone. Now, to be fair, I probably shouldn't have been ranking for the brand name anyway, but I was. But definitely now that's not happening. And it's happened. And like you say, yeah, you're seeing that more and more with affiliate type terms, or like review type terms anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
And then obviously you were seeing other stuff, aren't we? So we're seeing a lot of user generated content type stuff, like so Quora and Reddit and LinkedIn and that sort of thing. And so that's where I've pivoted a little bit in terms of starting to just go. I always say go where the attention is. If you can be in a space where the attention is, then ultimately you can monetize that. So that's what I'm trying to do.
That's it. And we will go down that road. But before we go down there, just with the original sites that were hit, what's your plan of action now on those sites? Are you kind of letting them simmer and maybe come back on their own, or are you actually going in and trying to revive them yourself?
Yeah, so like I said, the main thing really is focusing on mobile, making sure that mobile experience is good, particularly above the fold, above the scroll. And yeah, and then obviously content. So to be fair, on the first site that I created, that kind of fitness site that was doing very, very well, there was a lot of content on there that was not particularly great. So that obviously needs addressing. And it was something that we were doing anyway, but it's something that obviously that become more and more of a focus now. So they're kind of the key things. I have dabbled with I've actually on one site put on an e-commerce element to it. So just started selling some digital products. Not had any orders yet. I don't expect to get any orders, but if there's some kind of classification whereby e-commerce sites are doing better, then hopefully we can be tagged in as an e-commerce store, purely because we've got all the things that an e-commerce store would have, like the basket page, the cart page, and actual products. So that's the one that has come back about 20%. Again, I'm not saying that's the reason why, but maybe it's helped in some way, shape or form. I don't know. And interestingly enough, like people have been on those product pages. So they're actually having a look.
Nice. And what about the content to you makes it stand out as it's not currently good?
The lack of experience being shown through the writing. So when we initially, I would say there's probably 75 reviews or so of, say, fitness gear that is pretty much just regurgitating what is already out there on the internet. So when people talk about information gain, there's no information gain on those at all. Not even, there might be the odd sentence that says, you know, I like it because of this or whatever, like a bit of opinion-based stuff, but there's nothing really that adds any extra value. So, you know, these days, that content was written about 4 years ago. Nowadays, that content could be written to that standard just using Koala Writer or something like that, or ChatGPT. You could just churn that content out so quickly. So yeah, we're trying to embed a lot more. I'm working with the writers, trying to train them, get them to understand the impact of helpful content, and particularly trying to embed that experience throughout, removing a lot of fluff, intros that don't need to be there or that can just be one sentence instead of 5 sentences, getting rid of that. Anything that's repetitive, trying to remove anything that essentially is not adding value. Now, ultimately, what that's leading to is I'm now receiving articles that are a lot shorter from my writers, but that makes it cheaper and ultimately does make the article better. And if Google is not putting quite so much of an emphasis on word count, now I'm not saying I'm not thinking about word count because I do still ask my writers to kind of hit a certain word count, but I've always kind of been quite flexible with that. Yeah, so that's kind of the focus really in terms of content quality. Just the stuff that Google are saying they want to see. You know, sometimes you do have to, because I was outraged when I first got hit. I was like, this is ridiculous. This site here is no better than mine. But really, my site was probably no better than that 50% of the content. So people have talked about content pruning. I've tried to find content that is worthwhile pruning. It's proven difficult just because certain pages that might not get a lot of traffic, but they still rank well. And then others might have good links or a little dribble of traffic. So I've not really pruned a lot of content. That might be something that I might need to look at doing going forwards. But the other thing is with SGE looming, it's all going to change again. And Google, Search Liaison are saying that there's more big ranking changes coming. I think they've also said this week, haven't they, that they're not perfect. They've not got it right. And they know that we're in I think Danny Sullivan used the term, we're in a cycle that is not good at the moment in terms of search results. So it's going to change again. So it's like, how much do you want to do if it's then going to change again? And, so I think sometimes you have to have belief in what you do. And certainly with my newer sites, I think the content is way better. So I'm less likely to take a knee-jerk reaction with that. Like if you can sit there hand on heart and say, my content is fantastic, there's nothing I can do to improve it. It's genuine, it's real, it's got experience embedded through it, it's written well, it performs well on mobile, all these things, then I think sometimes you've just got to sit and write it out and hope that Google do reverse it and get it right. Because some of the things we're hearing from Google at the moment, I don't know what you think, but some of it's crazy. Like attaching notes to search and things like that.
Dude,
like, it's just...
I honestly think they're lost. I honestly think they're in too deep, that they can't make the change. I mean, I don't know if I saw a screenshot the other day, someone put Reddit into Ahrefs and they're literally like, they're just number 5 for everything. It's just like, that was their blanket solution to throw them at number 5 on every search term.
Yeah, I mean, Reddit is probably, I'm about to move away from my Ahrefs, but I've still got my account for a few more days. And Reddit is the main thing that I'm looking at the moment. Like I'm literally spending all day, I'm rinsing my last few days while I've got this legacy plan that I can use as many credits as I want. And I'm just Reddit. What's position 1 to 5, looking for review type keywords or best type keywords. And I'm all over that as well at the moment.
Oh, awesome. We're going to go into that, but quickly, you mentioned obviously with all your writers, are you leveraging AI for your content at all?
So I've just bought a new age domain and
dude,
this is...
You don't stop. You don't stop.
I can't stop. The thing is, I think once you've tasted the success with it, you want to kind of leverage it as much as possible. And this one was too good to pass up. So this one's a DR58. It's a UK site. It's probably twice as powerful. maybe like 1.5 times more powerful than any of the other sites that I've got in terms of DR, which obviously is just one metric. But the links on this site are unreal. Like you cannot get these links. It's got gov. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got it at auction. So it was a it's got gov.uk links. It's got BBC, Guardian. Like the links are just unreal. NHS as well. So it's going to be in the health space. It's got NHS links. So with this one, I am leveraging the use of AI. So I started using ChatGPT 4 to start with, and it was just taking me too long to get the content out. Now what I'm using, and I'm going to do some video reviews around this and talk about the process a little bit more, but I'm using Koala. And I really like the way Koala, and there's a little toggle on it where you can get it to only use sources from the Google, is it the Google Scholar? Yes, Google Scholar. So the sources are actually good. The problem I was having in ChatGPT was I was getting sources from like other age domains, which I don't really want to cite because they're not authoritative and they're my competitor. So what I'm doing with this one, I'm doing a bit of a mix. So I'd say 50% is going to be AI. And then there's going to be about probably 10, 20% of content that I'm taking from a site that I had previously that has not really taken off. And I'm probably going to redirect or canonical that to there. And then the other 30% or so is going to be written by writers. And that content is the review content. So the info content is what I'm using Koala for, and just trying to build out 2 topical clusters. In the past, I think I've tried to do too many topical clusters at the same time. So I'm going in with 2. I probably should just go in with 1 really, but I'm going to go in with 2. I mean, like even last night, I churned out. I say churned out. I've put together probably 10 articles in, I don't know, 2 hours, and they're good quality. And then the next stage is it goes to my human editor. So I've had this editor working with me for 6 months or so now, I think, and she's fantastic. She's really good. So I've just increased her hours to essentially purely work on this age domain project. So it's a bit of an experiment. We're going to see how it goes. I think it'll be interesting. I mean, one of the reasons I did this is because even amidst all this chaos in Google, there's another age domain that is performing very, very well in this space in the UK, but also taking US traffic and global traffic as well. It's about the same power as this site that I've got. The content isn't great. I think they're probably using AI more across the board. I mean, it's okay. It's not too, like, the content's not horrific, but it might only last for a year or so, but they're absolutely raking it in. Because you look at their traffic it got hit a little bit in helpful content. No, it didn't get hit in helpful content. It got hit in the core update that followed it. But they went from about 200,000 hits a month to about 150,000 hits. And and all of that is affiliate traffic going to the likes of like FanFuel and More Niche. And as well as I do, those, you're getting like 50, 60, 70% commission on those products. They're high order value. They're probably making, even after being hit, it's probably making like 80K a month at least.
We'll talk more off air about your new site, but
yeah.
With Reddit, I've been doing the same. I've been on Reddit a bit. I've had my own account for a while. I didn't really participate. I am now. I've already got like 4 sales for my membership for pre-Black Friday stuff on there. I got gifted a few aged Reddit accounts that are anonymous from a listener, which I'm very happy about. Thank you, Aaron. And they got me another membership thing. I still have to go in and make more comments. It takes a lot of time to keep those things updated. But what are you doing on Reddit then to help with your site? Do you try to treat it like a parasite? You doing a little bit of upvote manipulation and all sorts of stuff?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And that's the way to do it. So I'd never used Reddit before. It was the 10th of September when I started. So it's been about 2 months now. And it was someone that I'd been to Search Birmingham with, who we were in a little WhatsApp group or Twitter group, I think. And they said, look, this is working really well at the moment. So I just jumped on it, and I literally dropped my daughter at a netball match or train. She had a 3-hour training session, and it was miles away from home. So I just went and sat in a cafe, and I thought, right. And I sat in that cafe, and I was just doing loads of keyword research on Reddit. I mean, if people could see the things that I was writing down, I probably would have been thrown out, because it covers a lot of topics. Like, there's stuff out there that I didn't even know existed. And anyway, but you can monetize it. So essentially my process is age Reddit accounts. Just find a good vendor for age Reddit accounts. That it's harder to find now because obviously people are wanting them. I think when I started, they had loads. Now it's like they send you a WhatsApp to say they've put some more out, and I'm straight on there. Right, bye. And then you just need to use a proxy to access, because otherwise they're gonna, if you just use the same IP address constantly, they're gonna make the connection. So you just need to hide that, and then buy the upvotes. And what I'm doing that is it's hit and miss. I would say it's working about 70% of the time. Is I'm just putting the affiliate links directly into the post. I'm just commenting and I'm going hard, like I'm being proper spammy. To be fair, I'm trying to write a decent response, but yeah, and I'm even bolding the link as well. So like, I'll put maybe one or two. There's somewhere I've put 3 products. I did one. What day is it's Friday? I think it was Tuesday. It was Monday or Tuesday. I did one for sex toys, and like I'm making between $50 and $100 a day commission already, and I did that at the start of this week.
And these all new threads that you're commenting on?
No, so if whatever ranks. So some of these,
okay,
some of these threads. So I'm literally going into Ahrefs, putting Redditcom, breaking it down by positions 1 to 6, and then just searching for different things. I started off searching for the best and the review keywords. Now I just search for topics. So again, like say it's like cereals, I'll just search for cereals, see what's ranking. And there's things there that most of these subreddits are like a year, 2, 3 years old. So they're probably not even being moderated that heavily. Although I did put a comment on yesterday on one with a link, and the person it was a year ago, and the person that actually that wrote the initial post did respond and said, "Oh, that'd be great, but it's for men, not for women." And I was like, so I responded with, "Oh, don't worry, this is the one my wife swears by." So I gave her a second option. So there's the one for men, there's the one for women. And obviously with the upvotes, you're just pushing it up to the top. And it doesn't work 100% of the time, but most of the time it does, particularly if it's an aged account with karma. I mean, if you'd have asked me 3 months ago what karma was on Reddit, I wouldn't have had a clue. But, it's obviously pretty simple concept. But yeah, and this is what I'm saying, you've got to go where the attention is. I've also dabbled with LinkedIn a little bit. I tried to set up a new account because I didn't want to do it from my own LinkedIn, so I could go after some dodgy stuff. But the account just got suspended straight away. So I don't know if you can buy aged LinkedIn accounts. Probably not as much. I'm sure there's somewhere you can, but yeah, I think that they're obviously quite hot on the profile creation and that sort of side of things. But I have done some with my own, and they've ranked okay. I think there was a couple of weeks where I was ranking for best SEO expert or best e-commerce SEO expert and things like that. But it kind of got knocked down a bit after that. I think Ahrefs alternatives is one that I think I'm just the top of page 2 for, but I've not thrown any links or anything at it. So I could probably fire a load of PBNs, cheap links at it and see if it moves the needle. But I'm having such success with Reddit that I can't really be bothered with it. But that was purely ChatGPT content as well that I was putting on LinkedIn.
Nice. So
it ranks.
So with those Reddit accounts, are you doing anything to try and make them look natural, like commenting on random things and posting, or are you just going into old threads and commenting the affiliate link because then people aren't really checking the post history, etc. for those accounts?
Yeah, I think the main thing I try and do is respond to what the person has asked in the first place. So quite often they'll say, they'll have a certain issue, or if it's a review, they might be asking for feedback on something. So like there was a probiotic that someone was saying that this everyone raves about this probiotic, but it makes me bloated. Does anyone else have this issue? So I'd respond to that initial query and then obviously lead in with, yeah, I had that issue too. But with this one, I've been using it for 3 months, having no issues. And obviously, all I do is...
This one gives me 60% commission, so take this one.
Absolutely. But I mean, to be fair, I have used some of these and they are good, but obviously the commission helps.
For sure. No, I love that.
But essentially, I'm finding them through keyword research tools like you would do with anything else. And SEMrush and Ahrefs both do a great job of that.
Now that's so good. I actually commented on an aged one just to see if I could bump an info page further up. I don't know if it helps at all. I mean, 'cause I updated the content as well anyway, so it bumped up anyway.
What I've not tried. Sorry, I was going to say what?
Site.
Oh, yeah. And that's the other thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably easier to do. The one thing I would say with it is I found when I was just putting the affiliate link in, direct, like the kind of standard affiliate link, they were getting taken down. They were getting removed. But if I put a cloaked affiliate link in, as if it's going to your website, because it looks like your website, like website.com/recommends/product X, that tends to stick a lot more because it looks like it's going to the website rather than to the place, or rather that it's just an affiliate link. So that definitely helps. But I've done one or two where I've tried to push the traffic to my website. I think that's less spammy. So I think you probably get away with that a little bit more. But obviously you're just adding another layer. You need another click. So, I mean, that probiotic one, that was good. That I've had 2 sales today on that. I only did it yesterday and it's 14.5% conversion rate. I never get 14.5 conversion. I mean, that might just be a one-off because it's only been on for like less than 24 hours, but still that's 50 quid today already from that one Reddit post. And that's about how much the aged account costs. So it's broke even already. And if it makes 50 quid every day for the next month, that's 1,500 quid a month. It's just like, why wouldn't you? And this is why I think Google's going to have to tackle this, because ultimately it's a million times easier to go and comment on a Reddit post. Once you've done the keyword research, it's about 5 minutes work. The hardest part is getting the access to the affiliate programs. So if you're not in that niche already, then obviously that's quite difficult to do. But I've still managed to do that with certain ones. Particularly, obviously, it's worth persevering with more if it's a high ticket niche. And that's what I've tended to go after more than anything else.
Okay,
but
so
why wouldn't you do it?
An army of Reddit spammers from this podcast. I like it. At least that means Google might make a change. Well, I mean, Google might at least make a change and start ranking shitty Reddit threads because, that content sucks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there must be something in it because, like I said, the conversion rate, I suppose if you're a Reddit user and you're used to going on Reddit for your information, it probably is going to convert quite well. For me personally, if I saw Reddit in the Google results, I'm not going to click on it. Even though I know that most of the other sites are just affiliate sites, at least it's not just someone random that's giving that information or some dodgy SEO like me who's just spamming the hell out of it, because that's all that's going to happen. The lower the barrier to entry, the more it's going to get spammed. And the barrier to entry for Reddit at the moment is so low. It's the lowest I've ever seen anything. It's like parasite SEO for free.
But even more trustworthy to the user. But have you seen people ranking actual subreddits for terms?
So yeah, there's definitely people doing that. And that's something that I've not done myself yet. But I still think you can game the system there, because the same tool that I'm using to do the upvotes, you can upvote the posts as well, the subreddits.
Yep.
So that's something I've not tried, and that's something I definitely want to have a go at.
Yeah, I saw, I must have been on Twitter where I saw it, but I saw someone, I don't know if it's still ranking. It might not be, it must be something else, but someone was ranking best gold IRA companies subreddits and was cleaning up. I can't see it right now.
You imagine how much money that's making.
Fuck me. That's like
unreal.
6 figures, literally. Like literally within a week, if you're ranking that shit.
I'm finding it really difficult now. Like, I've just talked to you about how I'm starting a new site. Okay, it's an age domain, so it's still gaming the system. But ultimately, I want to put good information on there. But I'm finding it really difficult to mentally go, I'm going to spend 3 months or 6 months really working my arse off on that site when I could just sit here all day, just keyword research on Reddit, on Ahrefs or SEMrush, and then just blast the hell out of it. Because I would say 50 to 60% of my Reddit comments now are doing like ranking and getting some clicks and making money. I'm just probably not doing enough of it. I think I've only got about 15 Reddit accounts, and I'm only doing about 2 or 3 comments from each one. So it's basically, once I get one Reddit account that's ranking well and making good money, I don't comment on anything else with it. Or I don't do any more affiliate comments because I don't want that account to get suspended. So I've got one account, and probably by chance, but it was the first one that I did. That's going to do over $10,000 this month.
No fucking way.
Yes way. It did 7,000 last month. It's going to do over 10 this month. So I'm not commenting on fucking anything with that. I'm not going there because I do not want that account to get suspended.
Dude.
And that's the one that I did in that cafe using my mobile as a hotspot. So if I want to do any comments on that, I've got to go back to that cafe.
And hotspot.
Or I've at least got to just hotspot anyway from wherever. But like, I'm so paranoid that I don't want to hotspot from anywhere in case it just pings a different IP or whatever. Or so I'm just leaving it. I'm not even logging into the account, and it's still there. It's still there, ranking and doing well. But there's new subreddits popping up every week, every day in Ahrefs. So they're constantly changing. Like that one, for example, that hasn't changed for 2 months. It's still the one that's ranking, but there's new stuff coming in all the time. And you can see it on the graph, on Ahrefs graph. It's just the traffic's just continuing to go up.
Dude, I love that. Just taking advantage of it. And then on the topic of parasites as well, I know you're doing some other stuff within actual like newspaper paid parasites, right?
Yeah, not as much now. So I was doing a fair bit on Outlook India. Obviously that got hit a bit. It's still doing okay for some stuff. And you just got to find the right ones. But like, I think Dallas News is one that's doing okay now. NDTV, obviously Outlook India is still an option. But the thing is, because there's so many people aware of that now, it's more competitive. So you'll put something out and then the next week, someone else will put one and it takes the second place. It's one of those things. But for me, I think Reddit is just such a good opportunity. It's cheaper, quicker, because I've not got to wait for a broker to get the thing placed. I had one refused from Outlook India for being too risky. After they got hit by yeah, I know. I was like, my broker came back to me and said, sorry, they've refused it because it was like an adult niche and they refused it. But yeah, I was like, you got to be kidding me. And then I went on and looked on the Spotlight to see and I was like, it's the same thing. And they'd accepted it. But I think they've tightened up their requirements a little bit because of helpful content, because they did get hit. But they just take whatever, don't they, really?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm not making as much on that at all, but still a little bit. But the return on the other stuff is just way better. So it doesn't make sense for me to pursue it as much. But ultimately, you're going to go where the attention is. So Google's got to do something one way or the other, because either SEOs will continue to spam Parasite news articles, they'll continue to spam Quora, Medium, LinkedIn, Reddit. They're going to go wherever the attention is. But what's the hardest thing to create? A good quality niche site. So I don't really understand why they've targeted niche sites. And they can say they haven't targeted niche sites. They definitely have.
They're definitely targeting affiliate sites. Like,
affiliate for sure. Yeah,
you can't say otherwise. Like for them to be able to target parasites, you got to almost like discount links, and then what? And then you kind of
or they just do it on a domain by domain level, because there's not. Okay, there are a lot, but there's not.
They could
even
do
if
it
there's
with the
500, even if there's 1,000 sites that are doing it, they can knock them straight off. And I'd love it if they did, because like we talked, some of the niches that I'm in, Parasite are what are keeping me off page one.
Yeah.
And I'm praying for the day when that happens. So that's why at the moment I'm on both sides. Yeah. I'm doing the Parasite, I'm doing the niche site, because at some point I have to believe that Google are going to do the right thing and they're going to sweep aside these parasites, promote the good guys. So yeah, I'll be a good guy again then, 100%.
Until then, it's Jason niche spammer mills going on.
Yeah,
the change of channel.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to do both. Ultimately, you've got to make money. If I don't do it, someone else will. Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong. It is what it is. But
yeah,
and ultimately, I'm not trying to promote things that I really think are going to harm someone or do any hurt in any kind of way. So yeah, I sleep at night.
No, perfect. No, I'm on board, man. I'm on board. But obviously, outside of Parasite, Reddit kind of things, are you doing anything else to diversify from Google? Things like your YouTube?
Yeah. So actually, funny enough, this week we hired a space. I think you commented on it actually. Yeah, because it was a jiu-jitsu space, wasn't it? So yeah, we were filming some YouTube content. We had a load of scripts written, had a guy, one of my writers actually, who has agreed to be a presenter on the channel. So we had him down. He had like a 3.5 hour drive to get there as well, bless him. But yeah, we spent the day doing that. So YouTube's quite a big one. I think that, again, like to me, YouTube is the ultimate parasite. You know, yes, it takes more effort, but that's just a parasite play. You're leveraging the power of YouTube to put yourself in front of people. It's free. Pinterest is the other one that we're doing a lot of. I think we had a chat about that as well, didn't we? My wife is literally spending 2 days a week trying to crack Pinterest for me. So she's like been looking at some of Tony Hill's content.
Is she doing all right? I'll send you the course that my wife did, and she's crushing Pinterest now from that course.
Oh, brilliant. Yes, please do. Please do. So yeah, it's early days with it. And I think the problem was we tried to do it for all the sites, and it's just, it wasn't really possible.
That's tough.
Because if we've got the process and we know what we're doing, then we can do that. But while we're trying to crack it, I think really we had to focus on one or two sites. So now she's focusing on 2, and we'll see how it goes. But like, yeah, it's slowly moving in the right direction, but she enjoys that side of it. Like, she likes the visual side of all of this, the thing that she's most interested in. So for me, it makes sense for her to do that. So yeah, social and YouTube from the niche side, from the niche site point of view, that's a big focus at the moment. Yeah.
So what kind of content are you doing on the YouTube then? This is for the health style websites?
Yeah. So we're just kind of hitting topics that we've already written about. So let's say, I don't know, let's say it's probably some of the stuff that you might do yourself, like certain exercises. So if you're talking about, I don't know, tricep exercises or something like that, dumbbell tricep exercises, then we create a piece of content around that. And then, you know, we'll hit another one. And then obviously we can build an audience on YouTube, but we can also embed that directly within the article as well with video. It's completely branded. Like the guy's even wearing the t-shirt with the brand and everything. So I think it just adds that extra layer of authenticity. And then with the personal finance site, we've not started this yet, but we're about to start a podcast, which again is going to be done on YouTube. I've got one main writer for that. I do some of the writing as well, just because it kind of links to like side hustles and affiliate and that sort of thing. But like the pure finance stuff, he writes it. He's got a great finance background, and he's going to be the podcast host and the YouTube lead on that. And again, it just adds that extra layer of authenticity. And I think ultimately people love consuming video, don't they, these days? And it can be repurposed into so many different formats that it kind of just makes sense to do that. And I think that's where I would like to think that the sites that go to those lengths will be rewarded in the long term. But like, who knows with SGE? But it's I think it's definitely coming. I think SGE is going to launch in December.
That's right. They mentioned that, didn't they? Yeah. I mean, it's all over my SERPs already, but I think because obviously I opted in early and I get all day. I don't even look at it though. Like I scroll straight past it. So I don't know if the average user is going to look at it. Maybe.
Think about like my mother. Is she really going to sit and wait for this AI generative response? I don't think kids will. Like
well, even if they catch it, right? If they cache it, it comes up instantly, but I still don't read it. It's just like a block of text that's annoying.
Yeah. No, I agree. You would think they've obviously got a lot of data now because they've tested it and they've rolled it out to a lot more countries, haven't they? It's still not in the UK. So I've not even tried to VPN my way around it. I can't be asked. But I think people will just do exactly what you said. I think some people might use it, but I don't think majority will.
Yeah.
It still remains to be seen, doesn't it? Will it be a toggle on and off? Who knows?
I see a lot of it for me is kind of collapsed. So you have to click to expand it anyway. A lot of it's okay. And then even if it's not, it's like a massive feature snippet. I'm like, I don't want to read all that. You know, the feature snippet was good because I was like, there's the answer.
Yeah.
But for SGE, it's like, here's the answer. And I'm like, I don't want to have to read through that to see if I can find it. So yeah. But that's me personally.
But I agree with you. I think Google have lost their way a lot this year. I'm kind of glad to what's happened this week with Danny Sullivan kind of coming out and giving a bit more clarity. I mean, I've been very critical of John Mueller in the past and Google in general. But I think, to be fair, Danny Sullivan has been quite transparent this week. It can't be bloody easy being a Google, because ultimately they're not creating the algorithm. They're just, they're the liaison, aren't they, between us and them. And they just have to go with what what ends up being created and pushed out. And like you said earlier, I think Google are so far down the rabbit hole. How much of it is machine based and AI based? Can they even roll it back? Who knows? And I don't think they know. I don't think Danny or John even know. So, but going back to that, I think the issue is you just want someone that's going to give you a straight answer, and a lot of the time, they don't.
Hell no.
Whereas I think Danny this week has been really good, and he's given a lot of clarity to some of the things that were said that were a bit ambiguous. And yeah, that's all we need. We just need a bit more clarity. Like it shouldn't be us versus them.
Yeah, no, exactly. But that's just how it is. But on the YouTube topic as well, I'm trying to pivot my main site and turn YouTube into the main traffic source. And that's like my big thing right now. I started vlogging and everything, which is actually the first episode was received very, very well. So I've got another one I'm going to do tomorrow. But for me, at least within the fitness space, like you see a lot of the time smaller websites ranking with big terms. And I go, what the fuck? And it's because they have massive YouTube channels, or they start on YouTube. And for me, I think the biggest value isn't the fact that you have a big YouTube channel. It's the fact that if you have a big YouTube channel, people are searching your brand name plus the long tails. Because if you search the brand name on Google, you see brand name and then all the different long tails at the end. I think that is the big signal that is ranking these fitness sites that are DA 35 or whatever. And they're ranking number one for massive volume keywords.
I agree.
So, yeah.
There's a site in the new Tropics Niche. I don't know if you've seen it, and they've got a massive YouTube channel. And it's just one guy that does it.
Nootropic Expert or something like that?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And they were ranking nowhere prior to Helpful Content Update. And now all of a sudden it's them and all the parasites, but they're like position 3 or 4. I think there's one age domain, one that's them, and then the rest are parasites. And one might be mine, I'm not sure. But mine got hit. So again, like I said, if the parasites got removed, I'd be over the moon. But like that's a pure example of that. They obviously probably get a lot of branded search. They have a lot of content on YouTube. I've got content on YouTube as well for that niche, but I've only got 5 or 6 videos. But even just those 5 or 6 videos, they show up on page 1 for some of the review terms. So there's also that opportunity to generate traffic for YouTube through search anyway.
Yeah.
And I think that's only going to become more because, like I said, people tend to like consuming video. Yeah, I think you're right. I think anything that generates branded search can only be a positive for your website.
Yeah. And it's obviously a higher barrier to entry, especially compared to Reddit, to be able to make a YouTube video.
Yeah, of course. I don't think the Reddit thing will last forever. I think I'll be surprised if it lasts beyond Christmas, to be honest. I think Google have, I don't know what to think really, because it's every day is something different, isn't it? And
they're rolling out updates every bloody week right now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Like when the core update came straight after the helpful content update, it was actually, I was hosting a niche site meetup in Birmingham, just a little one. And this guy walked in, he said, there's another update rolling out. I said, oh, you mean helpful content? Because that had just finished. He said, no, there's a core update rolling out right now. I was like, no, you're joking. So I got on Google. Yeah, it's rolling out. And then I think there's been another 1 or 2 since then. So
yeah, I think so.
It's not, there was product reviews, which is currently rolling, isn't there? And then the spam one. But yeah, this is what it is now. I think, okay, we're going to have core updates, but I think there's more and more, it's just going to be within the algorithm. Like the product reviews now, they're not going to announce them, are they? They're just going to be baked in.
Yeah.
But I kind of like that, because if you make a change to your site, you're going to know whether it's making a difference or not, hopefully.
Yeah. So, I think it just changes the way people should approach doing their sites. Like for me now, if I was going to start a new site that I was really, really serious about, I wouldn't do the old model where you would try to write 30 plus blog posts and get them to rank. I would go after the main terms from the beginning. I would do one blog post. Now that I've done that one blog post, I know the topic really well. I would do a video on it or a podcast or both. And then I would do the short form with that. And I would do all of that before moving on to the second one. That's how I would do new ones. I don't think you can just go down and start writing 30 plus posts and then hope they're ranking at traffic. It's just too slow, too volatile, and you don't have any of the other signals coming back to your site.
Yeah, I think that's a great strategy. I think that's solid. And also, you're probably going to generate traffic quicker anyway to your site, because the socials and the YouTube stuff is probably going to rank quicker. So
Yeah.
I think that's a really, and that's then going to, like you say, it's going to feed back positive signals, and that's only going to help with the ranking anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the last time we talked was, I think, a year ago or so, and you started your travel site. So now it's been at least a year with your travel site. How's that? I mean, you mentioned obviously that's going up in the last updates, but how's that site going, and what's your plans to keep growing it?
It's not going great because my wife's in charge of that one. So we started it in January. So it's been about 11 months, and it's like, to be fair, the stuff, when she writes stuff, it ranks, but it's not monetized particularly well at the moment. So we initially were focusing purely on UK destinations, and what we've now started to do is broaden it out. That's just enabled us to write about more stuff. But like, there's so much stuff. Like, we've just been to Sicily, for example, and we went to this beautiful place, little town. She wrote a beach guide on it, and it ranked page 1 the next day. So, and we'd got no content on Sicily prior to that. Everything was like Cornwall in the UK and Wales in the UK. So I think we're going to broaden it out a little bit, and we just got to find the way to monetize it. I think Booking.com is obviously one. There's no display ads or anything on there at the moment. We might start to put the display ads on now because there's a bit more traffic coming in, but it's not going to set the world alight, to be fair.
How are you finding the travel affiliate programs like Booking.com? Or are you looking to find some more
I mean, we're
higher
on the
paying ones?
Yeah, we definitely need to do some more work on that. It's the same with my personal finance site. I've got probably a handful of affiliate programs on that. I've got loads of content that's ranking really well, and I'm finding it really hard to get on the right affiliate programs, or the affiliate or some of them don't even have affiliate programs, particularly in the UK, which is really frustrating because we've got really good traffic that we could monetize. So that's kind of one of our big stumbling blocks at the moment. So in travel, and more so with the personal finance, but it's just time. Again, I'm probably guilty, particularly with the travel site, because I kind of said to my wife, like, that's your baby. You're doing all the writing for that. Like, we've got everything. Like, we've got the images, we've got, the personal experience, because we're only talking about places that we've been. And like, it does show when she writes, it ranks, and it's only got a handful of links. It's not a powerful site at all, but it's branded quite well. She's doing a lot on Pinterest for that. Again, we probably need to do a bit more video content for that because it'd be easy enough to do. But I think Pinterest is good for the travel. Like, there's certain niches that I think it's good for, and I think that's one.
Yeah, the whole video thing too. That kind of like, because I'm trying to, the original plan was to build out a bunch of mini network sites. I'm thinking about that, if I should still do that, because I'm thinking now, like, if I was going to have a bunch of other sites in the same niche, I would probably need someone as the face. I'll probably need potentially to do some kind of video or social. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to build all of that out for every single site. I just want to have spammy niche sites under me, to prop up my main one.
But that's what makes it harder, because if you do want a big portfolio, you've got to bring people in, and then you've got to have the buy-in from them, and that you've got to have them happy to be the face of it. It's like, we were doing Harrow campaigns for the personal finance site, and my main author at first was really reluctant to be the person being pitched for these quotes, because he'd had instances in the past where the press had misquoted him. And he said, I want to see what the quotes are before they go. And obviously, when you're doing, when you're outsourcing Harrow, you can't. They don't have time. It's all about being time sensitive, isn't it? So there's just no time to do that. In the end, he agreed to do it, and it worked really well. But yeah, it is hard when you've got to rely on other people to do it. The other thing I'm starting to explore a little bit now is kind of the idea of splitting equity in a site. So I think that's one way in which you can bring people on and have them really buy into it, is to give them some kind of stake. So, if even like 50-50, I'd go 50-50 with someone. If they're going to become the face of it and go full on from that point of view with being representing the brand, and they're going to do the content, I'm happy to do the link building and the structure and all that side of things, the SEO side.
Yeah.
To me, that's a clever strategy. So I think that's one way of overcoming that. But then it depends on what your content strategy is, because like you said earlier, it's very easy now with AI to create content. But I mean, what are you doing with AI? Are you doing, I'm guessing you don't do any AI on your main site.
Not really. It's more like I might help it to write some product review stuff, because it's so tedious to write.
Yeah.
So I have it to write some stuff and I'll add my own things in it. I'll help it write maybe part of the buyer's guide section because that's pretty well the same regardless. And you kind of add your own thoughts on top of that. But I can't get it to do info content for me. It just doesn't. Because it's pulling content from other fitness sites.
Yeah.
So the content's dog shit anyway. So it's just rewriting more dog shit on top of it. I'm like, fuck, okay. So I have a couple of really good writers now who fill out a few different things that I'll write a lot of. Like, I'm trying to get to a point now because I enjoy writing and researching a lot of stuff. So I'm trying to get to a point where I already write the stuff I want to really write.
Yeah, that's good.
So I do like full reviews of stuff, like reviews of topics, not of products. And then I've got other people that will do some of the other stuff that not so much that I don't want to do, but to help fill out, like, for example, like we're selling our own creatine now. So I've got a writer that's just doing all my creatine articles and she's doing a PhD in nutrition and she's a registered dietitian and works with a bunch of other people. So it's perfect. Like, that's the perfect person to write it because she understands. She writes exactly like me, references exactly like me, all out. Fuck, sweet. So I just give her the topics, the brief, fills it out, publish that. So I'm trying to get to a point where most of that's outsourced and I write what I want. And then for my other site, it's again, same thing. I'm just like updating with friends of a lot of people doing the research in that space. So when those new papers come out, I get those. I'll either do a YouTube video on them or I'll update articles based on those things and stuff. So that's been pretty good too. So yeah, a lot of it's not AI. I'm trying to bring it more into my day-to-day writing, but damn, it's hard, man. Yeah. Especially when you're trying to pull a lot of good stuff. And I'm pulling from what I've done in my actual career. And then AI can't give me that. And then I have to rewrite the AI. I'm like, fuck.
It's not worth it. In that case, I just don't think it's worth it. Yeah. It can't replace you. It can't replace all of that experience. And that's the hard part. And I think that's why Google are focusing so much on that. It'd be really, I think the next 12 months is going to be probably the most, interesting. It's probably the most turbulent time. I think the last 12 months has been pretty turbulent. I think it's going to get more turbulent before it calms because things are progressing so fast now.
Dude, it's nuts.
It's unreal. It
wasn't that long ago you could just spin up sites and then sell them. It's like a buyer's market now in terms of the valuations and stuff going on. Like, I know a couple of people that are struggling to sell their sites at about 24x.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But it depends on the type of site. I think anything that's heavily info-based is going to struggle to sell. Yeah. Because obviously that's the sort of stuff that SGE is going to gobble up. 100%.
Yeah. And then obviously even affiliate is very volatile. So it's kind of like, ooh, you know?
Yeah, it is. Well, it's all volatile, isn't it? The thing is, when you see so many sites get smashed 70% or even 50%, obviously that is going to put a lot of fear into a buyer. I got hit. I bought a site in, end of July. I spent, I think I bought it for $20,000, something like that. And it got smashed at the end of August. And then it got smashed again in helpful content update. It literally went, the site was doing about 1,200 hits a day. And it's now doing 30.
Wow.
And the guy tried to sell me another site. And to be fair, we were in negotiations and we kind of agreed a price. And then the site kind of recovered while I was on holiday in Sicily. And then when we came back, he was like, no. We'd agreed on like $12,000 for this site. And he was like, no, I want 20 for it now. I'm like, well, no, sorry. And I don't think he sold it, but there was a big pull with that one because it had got something like 850,000 followers on Pinterest and it was getting half its traffic from Pinterest. So that was a different play really, but I still don't think he sold it. So it's definitely a buyer's market right now.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think that's a perfect way to end this podcast, Jason. Where can people find you? And actually, no, before we go, you need to plug, what's your new mentorship thing you do?
Oh yeah. So the Affiliate School Unfiltered. So basically I think I mentioned the gathering I had in October of like niche site owners. And there was a lot of people there that I'd mentored. I don't say a lot. There was 2 or 3 people that I'd mentored over the last 12 months. And I think people thought, I'd like to be mentored. So I had loads of people commenting on videos and emailing me, can you mentor me? I thought, well, I can't mentor everyone. So I thought, right, what's the next best thing? So I've put together a program called Affiliate School Unfiltered. We've got 30 people signed up and the Facebook group has already started. We're going to be doing some small group calls with those people in December. And then the project starts for real in January. So there is still time for people to get involved if they want to. And ultimately, it's all about accountability. There's going to be some kind of teaching content, some taught content from me. In fact, I've just signed up to Teachable today and got that set up. So I'm going to have that set up. And yeah, there's going to be a couple of calls a month to start with. Then we'll probably go to monthly calls. But everyone's really transparent because it's a closed Facebook group, 30 people, everyone's sharing their ideas. We're all going to kind of go on this journey together. I'm going to share a new project that I'm working on from scratch, share everything, domain, show it, talk about the journey. And I think next year in particular is going to be important for that because, like I said, it's going to be turbulent. It's going to be how we react to stuff. I'm also sharing some of the parasite stuff as well. So if people do want to sign up for that, you can go to the Affiliate School website and you just click on Unfiltered and you'll find it. And registration for that will close on the 31st of December.
Perfect. We'll get all that in the description too. But where can people find you, Jason, if they want to follow you?
The Affiliate School YouTube channel or at Niche Jason on Twitter. They're my main places that I hang out.
Perfect. Easy as. Thanks for coming on, Jason. Appreciate it.
Thanks, James. Always a pleasure.